Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
So this is our first official shoot. URL,
Yeah.
unzip, reboot, and leave.
Very
So,
exciting. Very
yep.
excited to be here. Yeah.
And that is our motto. And we will basically try to call everyone that you should unzip a little bit, reboot whatever software you have, and leave. That's the main thing.
That's right.
Okay.
Gautama, I was reading your book, 8 Billion Clients.
Thank you.
Very, very good read. Very insightful. In the beginning, you had a bit of an introduction in the front
Yes.
cover. So ওখান থেকে আমি কয়েকটা ক্যাপচার করেছি একটা প্রশ্ন আছে I'll ask you a question. So it's a known fact যে as humans in this case আমাদের পডকাস্টে we're mostly immigrants, right?
Yes.
So and we tend not to talk about very publicly our own mental health or financial health, especially as an immigrant coming into a new country, new environment, with because of deep ties to cultural and public reputation, and a lot of other pressures we have to keep up. So can you say a few things about that? How did you navigate it, and what are the certain factors about immigrant life coming into this, and the pressures?
Yeah, so for immigrant life, there are definitely many aspects to it. First, I guess it's better to understand that immigration hole kintu they like everyone go through some phases. Okay, so pretty much most of the cases, 90% of the cases, immigration happens because we are looking for a better life.
Yeah.
So when we go to a new land, new country, definitely initial kick is there. Oh wow, everything is good, everything is like we are moving ahead, feeling of excitement, we are winning. So that is one phase. Then when that cloud is gone, then it's kind of a rejection phase started coming. Oh, I was very good in my own country. I was very comfortable in my own country. What's the point of coming and like doing all the struggles? And the main reason for it is lack of friends and family, and lack of support, emotional support, or that way, basically. So that phase, after that piece gone, then kind of a regression thing starts to happen. And that in the regression phase, what happens is people typically start doing the same activities what they used to do in their own country. বাঙালি আর একটা বাঙালির সাথে মিশবে, বাঙালি দেশে ভালো খেত, এখানে আরো খেতে যাবে, সেম টাইপের they will try to find same type of বন্ধুত্ব, মানে in the sense আমার যদি একটা বাচ্চা থাকে, they will find another family who has also one child, the same age of the child. So ওইভাবে তারা তাদের নিজেদের যে কোর অ্যাক্টিভিটি, what they used to do or what they possibly do in their own country, সেটাই করছে। তো সেটা চলতে চলতে কিছুটা ঝামেলাও লেগে যায়, কিছুটা ইগো ক্লাস চলে আসে, সবকিছু হয়ে তারপরে একটা ফেজ আসে যেখানে পিপল স্টার্টেড আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং অর অ্যাকসেপ্টিং দ্য নর্মস অফ নিউ ল্যান্ড, যেখানে কালচারাল সাটল নিউয়ান্সেস গুলো বুঝতে শুরু করে মানুষ, অ্যান্ড স্টার্ট বেসিক্যালি সিইং দ্য পজিটিভ সাইড অফ ইট। আর আরেকটা জিনিস ওই ফেজে হয়, নিজেদের মানে ক্লক ইন আওয়ার ওল্ড কান্ট্রির জন্য সেটাও বন্ধ হয়ে যায়। সো আওয়ার কান্ট্রি, আওয়ার সোসাইটি, আওয়ার হোয়াট এভার সংস্কৃতি স্টাক দ্যাট টাইম। সো 10 years পরেও আমরা ওইটাই এক্সপেক্ট করি যখন আমরা দেশে যাই, রাইট? সো এইভাবে একটা পুরো কোলাবোরেশন চলে। এবারে এই ফেজ দিয়ে সবাই যায়, কেউ কম দিন যায়, কেউ বেশি দিন যায়। আর এই ফেজে স্ট্রাগল যেটা আমি আমার মতো করে সলভ করার চেষ্টা করেছি ইজ লাইক মিংলিং উইথ ভেরিয়াস পিপল, ভেরিয়াস ওয়ার্কস অফ লাইফ, ডিফারেন্ট কান্ট্রি, ডিফারেন্ট কালচার। আমি সেইভাবে ন্যাভিগেট করার চেষ্টা করেছি, হুইচ কাইন্ড অফ গিভেন মি ডিফারেন্ট পার্সপেক্টিভস of seeing a same thing but from a different angle. কিন্তু হ্যাঁ, মানে অনেক মানে নট সো এক্সপ্রেসিভ লোকজন আছে বা ইন্ট্রোভার্ট লোকজন আছে, they struggle, they try to find one or two friends, they I don't know, মানে because আমি জানি না ওই জার্নিটা যেহেতু আমি নিইনি, maybe we can explore that. যে ইন্ট্রোভার্ট লোকেরা কি করে মিঙ্গল করে।
Yeah, everyone has their own way of socializing. Yeah.
Right. So socializing is one of the ways I try to manipulate this lack of resource phase or life or whatever.
Okay. Well, that's a good point because I have another question. I could personally say very related to what you just said. So again, you had a bit of a roller coaster journey, right?
Yes.
From your career and coming here, like it wasn't straightforward.
No.
It wasn't at least straightforward.
বা চাইও নি হয়তো সেই জন্য হয়েছে।
Probably, yeah.
Don't know.
But at one point, it was very significant. I thought, is you said you talk about being lost. You felt lost.
Yeah.
At some point, being an immigrant in Australia, so mental health and financial stress. So maybe that's something you can talk about. Did this help mingling with all these other people, different walks of life? Was this one of the ways you coped with being lost and how you found your way back?
Definitely yes, but it was not straightforward in the sense, I gone through this mental not well phase in 2012-13. So that time society was not ready. There was not much awareness in the air. And I actually, like that time, went, because I was out of job at that point of time, so I was going for an interview and a couple of places actually mentioned about it. And I got rejected. I mean, now can you imagine in this time?
Day and age,
Yeah, no, you cannot. But yeah, time used to be like that.
Yeah.
For me, definitely, it like socializing helped, or mingling with different perspective helps, because I actually went for an interview, and the guy who was taking my interview, he actually said that it's better you talk to so and so person. He might help you. There is something not right in him.
Okay.
So that way I end up having a proper conversation with a doctor, because in that mindset I also didn't know like what to do. My wife was struggling, I was struggling, that all I know. And is it like, do I have to go to a doctor? No idea. But that like connection kind of helped me to reach there. So
well, that's wonderful that somebody actually talked about it openly to you.
Yes, and I was lucky, I guess, because that guy, he was a mental health first aider. So 10 years back, mental health first aider was a very unique thing. Not very common. So, and then my journey started, and I became very interested about it, and definitely trying to like serve somehow, some way in this mental health, early intervention phase. Hopefully I'll be successful.
Yeah, no, wonderful, really good.
Thank you. So Prit, because you also an immigrant,
Yes.
and তুই একটু অন্য টাইপের ইমিগ্রেন্ট, কারণ তুই born and brought up not in India.
Yeah, outside of India.
তো তুই সেটা একটু বলবি, আর how is your life in Australia as an immigrant and living in different cities, সেটা যদি একটু বলিস।
Yeah, sure. So yeah, my immigration journey to অন্যরকম, মানে ইন্ডিয়াতে আমি কখনো থাকিনি, কাজও করিনি, so it's a different experience to yourself. I think that plays a big role. My perspective is very different to your perspective. Our expectation are different, reality are different.
Yep.
Like,
have to be.
আমাদের চ্যালেঞ্জও হবে খুব ডিফারেন্ট। লাইক আই থিঙ্ক আমার চ্যালেঞ্জ আর আমার সেই সময় যখন আমি এসেছিলাম অস্ট্রেলিয়াতে প্রথম, it was the normal thing to do. Everybody, আমার সব বন্ধুরা, everybody was going overseas to study. So বলো ঠিক আছে, I also have to follow the crowd. So it's for better education, for future, যেমন হয় for parental pressure. But yeah, so আমি পার্থে আসলাম প্রথমে। Perth was যেখানে আমি ইউনিভার্সিটিতে শুরু করলাম, but nothing prepared me for that. It was a start from scratch, কোনো বন্ধু নেই ওখানে, so it was very a feeling that you're just dropped in a unknown place. Now survive somehow.
Yes.
But I guess only saving grace was because I was there for a purpose. I had a purpose, and my purpose was to, get a degree. So that was good. There was some stability in that sense. That okay, every morning this is the routine. This is what I have to do. So that was good in a way. It kept me busy, and through that, I got to mingle and socialize with a lot of people, and that is what I was connecting to. What you said it really helped. প্রথম my first year আমি engineering করেছি, it's a 4-year course. I think first year was just navigating the being lost phase, like who is who, what is this, what's happening, কেন করছি এটা. So then slowly as you socialize, you get to talk to people of similar challenges, similar backgrounds, then you understand, okay, there is someone else who's going through the same thing. So it's not just you, you're not alone. So it was then you start feeling really comfortable.
Yeah.
I felt really comfortable. At the end of 4 years, I was calling Perth home because of friends and structure and just familiarity of with the place. At that time, I wasn't even thinking of moving anywhere. I was really happy. You know that feeling of very comfortable. You don't feel like doing anything in your comfort zone, which can be a good thing. Can also be bad, but anyways, then of course the next phase of life is looking for a job. University is only 4 years. After 4 years, again, you're dropped in somewhere. Now you have to survive. You have to pay the rent, to pay for your living. So yeah, that was another journey because again, nothing prepares you for that.
No.
University doesn't prepare you on how to find jobs or what to do in interviews. You learn that by trial and error. I learned that from trial and error.
Me too.
This is my example, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So,
though the funny thing is, in every university there is a cell. They apparently prepare you with your resume and with your
yes, there
the
was
interview
some,
questions
yeah,
and all. I don't know.
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't.
For me, not even okay. I mean, I never found it very, very eye-opening or very, yeah,
helpful.
not that way.
Yeah, I remember now. We also.
But
had
trial
that,
and error, definitely. That's the way.
We had that as well, but I think there were so many candidates.
Yes.
At the same time, we're all graduating, and they were just picking the best of the best, of course.
Yep.
And I wasn't the best student by any chance.
You don't have to
I
be.
was just an average student. So. But I think I lost track of.
Average student right kamal kore kintu.
Is it?
That's what I believe. Yes.
But yeah, hundreds of interviews, I think, job applications to interviews. And then after a certain point, I did get a job. I get many jobs. But after a while, I realized that after many jobs, after changing jobs, found out that it's actually at that time, maybe it's changed now. It's actually about who you know than what you know. So I found most of my jobs from word of mouth. So someone recommended me, or they knew me, or I knew someone, and that's how I actually got an interview. That was my learning. So what I learned and what I tell a lot of people is now, the best thing you can do is find people and network. Just socialize, find people who are in the same thing. Because at the end of the day, they might actually link you with someone.
Yes.
That might end up giving you a job. It might not happen. But what's the harm? You have to put yourself out there.
Yes.
Oh, at the other time, the other thing you mentioned, the introvert. So at the time, I think I was an introvert at the time. So I'm sure you know there's different levels of introvert.
Oh yeah.
There is introverts, then there's introverts that also can be extroverted. So
True.
I classify myself as an introvert. In my own sense, I feel like I'm an introvert. When I have to be, when I absolutely have to be, I will become an extrovert. So that was a really good thing to understand, mentally, plus my own emotional, my profile, to understand that yes, when I need to switch on my extrovertedness, I can talk to someone, I can get a contact, I can do this. So that was a big challenge, that big jump, because I'm really happy not talking to anyone. I can be by myself. I can just happy with that.
One thing, one of my friends, এখানে মেলবোর্নে থাকে, he is bit I mean, scared or he's not comfortable driving.
Oh, okay.
ঠিক আছে? So এখানে you have to drive, right? So point A to point B, you know, sometimes he does that, but most of the time he tries to avoid it. Always I tell him that, you know, তোকে মানে সচিন তেন্ডুলকার হতে হবে না, একটা কমিউনিটি লেভেল বেসিক ক্রিকেট প্লেয়ার হলেও পয়েন্ট এ টু পয়েন্ট বি জাস্ট ডু দ্য জব, বিকজ ইউ ক্যানট জাস্ট রিলাই অন ড্রাইভিং ইন দিস টাইম, ইন দিস টাইপ অফ কান্ট্রি, রাইট? ইউ হ্যাভ টু ডু ইট। সো আমি খালি ওকে বলি, সো সেম জিনিস, মানে ইন্ট্রোভার্ট থেকে এক্সট্রোভার্ট হতে সচিন তেন্ডুলকার হয়ে যেতে হবে না, মানে জাস্ট আ বিট বাই বিট। দ্যাটস ইট। So আমিও সেটাই বলি। হ্যাঁ, সরি।
No, absolutely perfect. And but there's a very a stereotype that they say engineers are not very good in public speaking, or like,
Yes.
especially if you're technical and doing this, and that's what they don't teach you in university as well, or anywhere. It is something you learn outside of,
Yeah.
from other sources. So I did a lot of I think what helped was I did a lot of odd jobs as well. So I did a lot of non-engineering jobs,
Yes.
Working in supermarkets, restaurants.
What,
retail.
dishwasher?
I went through everything. I went from waitering to dishwashing.
Okay.
I got demoted, but I did.
Okay. Now I never got promoted, so I started in dishwashing.
I started at waitering, and then
Came down. Okay. I started in dishwashing and never got promoted. So yeah.
But one of my favorite odd jobs was working in a toy store. I was selling toys.
Okay.
But I liked it because that was one job where I could talk to people,
right,
without feeling like there is no long-term, engagement. So you have a problem, you're coming to me, you're looking for something. Okay, let's find out a bit more information. What do you need? Sometimes some people don't even know what they want.
Right.
So I have to buy a gift for my 4-year-old grandchild. Okay, what do they like? What do they this? So you sort of start questioning, and it's a bit logical. It's a bit, trying to socialize, and that was good. It's a bit different to your typical engineering.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think these odd jobs also, they help you structure your character to help you for the next stage. So you learn.
Or I mean, because like we are Indians, a lot of our Indian friends are coming from India with a job, and there are a lot of Indians who came here, studied, and trying to settle down, maybe working in the same organization. Their perspective is very different. এবং একটাই আমার মনে হয় যে because of those odd jobs, they understood the local nuances much better.
Yeah, true.
And understanding the locals or understanding the local norms is much better যখন ওই মানে গ্রাউন্ডেড জবগুলো কেউ করছে, কেউ ট্যাক্সি চালাচ্ছে, কেউ মানে ক্লিনিং করছে, কেউ whatever, dishwashing করছে. It helps. Otherwise, that ওই কোকুন থেকেই বেরোয় না লোকে.
Yeah, true.
Right?
True, that's right.
Job নিয়ে আরেকটা কোয়েশ্চেন আছে, which is a big question in my journey also. Now you are working with Southeast Water, right? And you are engineer by trade, but you are with this water agencies, departments, utility departments, for a reasonable amount of time, 7-8 years now.
Yeah, probably longer.
Probably longer. Okay, so that's the frustrating part. I mean, if you would like to get a job outside water or water industry, how difficult it is, or is it really possible? Because I tried to break it and I failed miserably. So what's your take on it?
I can probably, so আমি যখন শুরু করলাম, my first proper engineering job was not in water, it was in mining. So I was working for a consulting company. They were doing a lot of work in the mining industry, because at the time mining was the boom.
Yes.
Then a few years later it crashed. But anyways, the point I'm making is mining, everyone was doing mining, that was fine, but once that stopped, then at that point in time, it was pretty much, I was trying to find any job. It wasn't water or anything. Water wasn't even on my radar. I was trying to look for similar mining jobs because I had experience. And you're right, there is this notion that if you've been working in mining, then it's easy for you to get a job in mining. But what I found really useful was after many job applications, I gave up. I was like, something is not working. And at the time, I was still, very being very বলে না বাংলাতে কঞ্জুস হয়ে আছি পয়সা নিয়ে, because I didn't have much money.
Yes.
So I was like, people were saying, well, just pay someone to review your resume, pay someone to.
It's a catch-22 situation, mate.
Exactly. So I was looking and I said, fine, look, what's the worst that can happen? I'll lose $100 or something. Or it was. Anyways, I did this, and it was it's cliche, but it really changed.
Right, that's good.
It changed my outlook on this paid service. But maybe this was a good.
And especially Indians.
Exactly.
Yes.
So maybe I got a really good person, but she gave me really good advice and said, look, your skills are transferable. There's nothing in your skill that's saying you can only do in mining. So you need to sell yourself as a transferable worker or asset or skill. So she wrote it up some way that it sounded like, I can do this at water industry, or I can do this in oil and gas or whatever. So that helped. And that actually got my applications noticed with other people. So sometimes asking for help is the biggest challenge. So I was very stubborn. I was like, no, I don't want to waste money on it. I can do this myself. So, you research, you do this, but it's not working.
Yes.
Sometimes you just need to go to someone who has done this, pay the money or something, and ask for help. Really.
Now, sometimes this is also a struggle, like whom to ask.
Exactly.
কারণ মানে মানে কিছু লোক আছে তো মানে কোয়েশ্চেন করলেই মানে জ্ঞান দেওয়ার জন্য বসে রয়েছে সো
a lot of talk but not
oh yeah a lot of fluff but মানে সেগুলো নিয়ে তো লাভ নেই খুব একটা কিন্তু হ্যাঁ মানে whom to ask, that is also a challenge.
That's sometimes can be a gamble, a risk.
True.
Trial and error again.
True. True.
But, yeah.
Okay, so that means you are saying your skill is transferable, so that's why you can kind of came from mining to water. Okay, now how many years you were in mining?
Maybe 3-4 years.
3-4 years, and now you are in 7-8 years or 9 years in water. Now after 9 years in water, can you really easily go back to mining, or you have to stick to water? What do you think?
I guess if push comes to shove, I would probably apply the same logic that my skills
Are transferable.
Yeah, because again, my case is different. I'm an electrical engineer.
Right.
So at the core of it, at the foundation, the principle is the same. Electrical engineer in water is going to be doing the same principally in the mining industry.
Right.
But application is different.
Right.
So I think it's, for me, if I were to go to another industry, I need to sell those foundations.
Yeah.
What am I good at? I'm not good at watering. I have to sell what is the core that I'm good at.
Right.
Am I good at managing a project? Am I good at risk? Am I good at those transferable skills? Is what I learned that we need to really put forefront in your application. And when you get an interview, that's what you should be talking about. That's from my experience. Right?
So, whose responsibility is more in that situation? Is it someone who is looking for a job? It's only their responsibility to project themselves as the best sellable, or is it the company's responsibility also to understand that okay, this guy might probably haven't worked in water industry, but maybe give it a shot, because these are not rocket science, or these are not I mean life is not dependent on it. I mean, not that crucial. I mean, it's not surgery on human body. So do you reckon it is that perception is there, or not there, or very less there?
It's a really good question. So we have this discussion regularly in the water industry.
Right.
So we find that a lot of roles, a lot of positions, they specify you must have a minimum a degree or engineering qualification. then we do get that. We do get applicants who have a degree, they tick the box. But then the actual real life experience or application, we find that sometimes some of the technical trades, they actually have more understanding and a better real life experience than someone who has a 4-year engineering degree who's just come out of that. So we question,
Yeah.
like, is it necessary between two candidates, someone who has a degree and someone who has real life experience, who doesn't have a degree, maybe he's done a trade qualification, he or
Yes.
she has done a trade qualification.
But very much hands-on.
Yeah, but their application will be automatically taken away because they don't have the tick of an engineering
Right.
degree. So absolutely right. It is up to the company as well to understand that we need to open up your search a bit more, maybe relax a bit of these conditions and interview the person, actually talk to them, find out what kind of person they are. The role also depends. The role might be a purely project management role. And what is project management at the end of the day? You're just trying to deliver something within a certain time, within a certain budget.
Yes.
And if someone is really good at doing that, but doesn't have a degree, then you should give them a chance, I would say. So it's a bit of both. It's how your experience, you can somehow talk about your experience. The problem is the interview is like only an hour maybe or less. So within that time, you have to somehow convince the person, look, based on my experience, my characteristic personality, I'm really good at managing under stress, pressure situations. It's tricky. But if the company doesn't give you a chance, they're like, no, you don't satisfy this requirement. Sorry, not getting the job.
Yes, I mean, like definitely. So you have to go and sell your personality to them. Understood. But sometimes, what happens is it's, I guess, depends on that particular individual also. Some people likes to know your story, and some people
You mean the interviewer?
in the interviewer,
Yes, correct.
and some people just interested to ask the questions given
In the script.
in the script.
Yes, they won't go
And
outside
one of the very rubbish question is 5 weaknesses and 5 strengths.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. I mean, you can come up and say any words that doesn't mean anything as long as you are not like doing it by or showing it by action. Now again, the problem is like, then how you will show in that 1 hour that you have those capabilities. And like I find even more critical these introvert people, because they are not that talkative. Everyone has to sell. That is also bit uncomfortable idea to conceive, right? Somebody can be a very good salesman. Somebody can be a very good writer. He doesn't know how to sell himself or herself. That's like, is there any way we can change that bit by bit? Or can technology change it?
Very interesting point.
Can technology, okay, this is the question, can technology really dissect a resume and understand what that person really wants?
I don't think only technology can. There has to be
many human interactions.
Human, or the way you set it up. I don't know if what you're thinking about in terms of technology, but if it's a set of questions, the questions have to be very structured or really well thought to really bring out that. How do you bring out Gautam in a couple of questions? Is it a video recording? Is it an audio recording that instead of just writing some words on a page? Like one of the I think the good questions. I've been on interview panels before as one of the interviewers. Sometimes the best question is just asking them to give a scenario or an example that's happened before and how they handle. That's a typical question.
Yeah.
How did you handle the situation? Blah blah blah. Sometimes that's just scratches the surface.
I guess
how you would potentially, but sometimes depends. Some people would just say what you want to hear, but it's tricky. It's tricky.
In those questions, what my finding was, there are a lot of like leaders, or there are a lot of good guys within the organization who really likes to help. And in some situations where they really helped the guy, which probably didn't bring the result the organization wanted, but they really helped the environment.
Okay, I see.
Which give them a longer, better result, but not instant. Those guys cannot prove that they did the right thing.
Correct.
Or nobody can understand that they did the right thing. That's the problem in those questions and those answers.
So it's really you're trying to see if that person has the right attitude.
I think so.
And how do you understand if someone has the right attitude unless you're working with them?
Exactly.
When in an interview, you're not working with them.
No.
So it is a catch-22. So I think it's really up to the interviewer or the employer to figure out, okay, should we give this person a chance to prove themselves, or also depends on the job. If the job is there's a deadline, we need someone to hit the ground running. We can't support them. I've also heard that where there's, we have to get this out done. So this high deadline jobs.
Yes, I mean, in some cases, definitely. I mean, skills are not that easily transferable. I understand that. But in some cases, all the soft skills is easily transferable.
Right.
Or, I mean, there are like, everybody is talking about innovation and all. So if innovation is what? Like if seeing things very differently, or seeing whatever is there and realizing these things can be improved, or productivity can be improved.
Yeah.
So maybe whatever like engineers are doing, maybe a third person coming from a marketing background can see the problem very differently. And maybe a solution can give. Do we really have that kind of environment in corporate world? I didn't find it. I mean, okay, I'm out of corporate world for the last 10 years. In startup environment or in small businesses, yes, those exercises are very much there. Maybe lack of resources is the reason, but I guess like big organization can also look into it in a more serious way.
I mean, it's very slow. Like in the water industry, they are trying to open up a bit more collaboration between different, not just internally, but with different utilities across the state, the country. So there's a lot of that happening. People are understanding because, okay, the water industry is different because we're all doing the same thing, trying to get the same objective done. So why not talk to others and try to find out what they're doing? But it is such a, I don't know, where do you start? Is it top-down approach? Does it start from the top? Does it start from the bottom? Where do you make this change? Someone has to push for this change to
and sustain it. Maybe
sustain
because
it,
because it will not happen in 1 month or 2 months.
Yeah.
It's a sustained effort required to change the perception
and keep it there.
And keep it there.
Yeah.
At least, I don't know, maybe 1 year solid or 2 years solid.
Yeah.
Then that activities or that way of doing things probably ripple down.
Yeah.
And
But
because
I think you're right. The returns
are bigger for sure.
It's not short term. It's not instant. Not even medium term. But they will be huge down the long term.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly. I mean, in my 8-9 years of corporate as an employee life, I have seen this kind of a very vibrant, positive team. That's not because of that organization. That's because of that particular individual's leadership. That vibrancy is there. The moment that guy gone, same thing. So we have to pick those type of individuals. We have to find some ways to pick those individuals more regularly and like bring them in the front.
Or do you think so? Maybe if I was asking you, how did that individual, that person, become that way? Is it something that they are born with, or is that something they learned? So how do you like? The other question is, Is that something you can actually train someone to be?
I don't know about training and all. Training definitely helps, but I guess this type of people mostly coming from their pain, basically. So people who gone through that pain and they have that humanity.
They want to make a change. They want
Yeah,
to do something about it.
want to feel that way, that this struggle should not come to another person's life. Then they, I guess, try to make something so that, or at least within their jurisdiction, they try to do something that at least in their ecosystem people don't struggle that way.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because one manager in in my employee days said, like, he was a very close friend of mine, became my mentor and all. So I asked him, like, why did you give me that opportunity when he, because I didn't have any experience at that time in telecom.
Yeah.
So he said that I saw that you are looking for a chance to prove yourself, and I just gave you that chance. No skills, no experience.
Yeah.
I guess it comes down to attitude, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I then asked him, like, why did you do that? Because he said, I got it from my boss at one point of time.
Just passing it on, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit of karma, maybe.
Yeah, or I mean, yeah.
It is.
I guess it's related to pain.
Where is it coming from exactly?
Yeah.
Like, and if that person didn't go to hell,
Maybe he was going through that pain and soothe it.
Yeah.
And that's what probably he is doing. He's just replicating that good behavior. Yeah.
It's like, I have to pass it on.
Yeah. I can tell you one good thing. Before, when I was like mid-20s, I used to think like good manager or good leader means you have to, take the work out from your subordinates.
Oh,
you have to get the job done.
Make them work.
Make them work, right? And then, okay, with age or with, seeing different things, I realized that you have to give them certain atmosphere so that they can work and all these things. And after a point, I realized, you have to just look after their aspirations. That's it. If you can then look after their aspiration, everything will be taken care of automatically.
It's the mindset, though. A lot of people think they have to make the subordinates have to make the manager happy, but it's actually the other way around. The manager has to keep his team happy, his subordinates happy, and then everything will, work out.
Yeah.
So that's not really a team leader. It's more like a boss. The boss is like cracking the whip, like work harder, work harder, work harder.
Yeah, yeah.
The team leader is trying to make sure you got everything you need. Something wrong? What can I do? Help you? Whatever. Yeah. So it's a big change mindset. I don't know. Maybe different cultures, different countries, different. There's different types of leadership.
I think it will. It has to change. It is changing. It has to change because in today's day and age, with a lot of resources people have, no one is taking those rubbishes anymore.
Right. I mean, once they find out that they don't have to,
yeah,
they say,
that's it. They will flee.
Thank you. Bye bye. I'm crying.
Yeah. Absolutely.